After the Snowman and the Sandman, we're ready for the finale of the Always Aim Tri series. Welcome to North Wales and the 2014 Snowman Triathlon powered by Suunto. Whatever the weather, the setting here is one of sheer beauty, and the mountain mist just adds to the atmosphere. The crux of the course is the run. It's shorter than an Olympic distance, but it will take twice as long as they have to ascend and descend Moel Siabod, an 872-metre peak. At 13 degrees, the swim will be warm compared to the last couple of years, but still fresh. Once out of the water, they head through T1, situated at Plaza Brennan, the National Mountain Centre, and then onto the roads of Snowdonia for a 69-kilometre bike ride. You have to push hard, but you have to save something for the run as well. The full distance is known as the Blizzard, but there is an option of going halfway. It's going to take a big set of lungs and a strong heart to get up quickly, but agility might well be the key to success on the way down. The route on the steep slopes is a mix of mud and rock. Finishers could well be covered in mud and blood by the time they cross the line, and no doubt there'll be a little bit of sweat and tears thrown in as well. Maybe they should finish with a swim as well as start with one. Well, they're getting ready for the start of the race, and everyone aware of the water temperature. 13 degrees isn't too bad, to be honest. 2 years ago it was down in single figures. Well, there's no doubt that the man to watch today is Ewan Brown. He's been on sensational form this season. He's won both races, the Snowman and the Sandman, and considering he was injured as well, that was a big surprise. Now, not only is Brown bidding to become the first man to win all three races in the series, but he could well do it in the same season. And if he does that, the first prize for man and woman for winning the series is a trip to Nevis and a free entry into the Nevis Triathlon in the Caribbean. Well, here are the standings. Ewan Brown 5 minutes clear of Skates, but Skates is absent, so Alex Foster, his nearest challenger, Susie Richards, has a 22-minute lead over Dorothy Livia Bella. Remember, it's a cumulative time over the three-race series, and so Brown has a pretty comfortable lead.
Bearing in mind where the series is, I think just to finish first you've got to finish, so just don't take any big risks, but still keep racing hard, because I think if you don't race hard, then you sort of stop thinking properly, so you just got to keep racing hard.
The 32-year-old from Manchester, Alex Foster, is certainly Brown's biggest rival today, and I think he may fancy his chances.
I know I've got my work cut out to beat Ewan. He's got a big old advantage. It's an hard race, it's a long race, probably the longest one of the series. I think a lot can change after the bike once you get on the run. It's a different ball game going up and coming down on that run.
Now, Susie Richards is the leading woman. She took a big fall off her bike earlier in the season, and so she is well aware that things can go badly wrong on a single day.
It's not at all over to cross the line. Like, probably my biggest worry is getting a puncture or twisting an ankle or something up on the hills. So, that time gap can easily be wiped out. So, yeah, not really thinking about that. Just thinking about each bit of the race, hopefully, and get through it.
Over 450 competitors almost ready to go. There are plenty from each of the home nations, but others have come from much further afield.
Well, I travelled here from Trinidad in the West Indies in the Caribbean, and I saw this last year on the TV, and I'm used to doing triathlons in the tropics, and I thought this is the opposite of what I normally do, so I thought I'd come out here to the Snowman.
Well, there's a nice Christmas shot, and at this time of year, most people's tans have long gone, but for some competitors, they still look as though they've been in the sun recently, and that's just the case with Claire Webber.
We've come over to the UK from Australia for a wedding, and I thought, well, while we're here, we may as well take the opportunity to do a race. So I looked to see what I could find, and this was it. So it's going to be a bit of a shock to me, though, because I've been training in 30 degrees, so I don't know how I'm going to go today.
From 30 degrees to 13 degrees in the water and pouring with rain. Well, it won't make any difference to the swimmers, but it might make the bike ride a little bit treacherous. But it is a stunning scene. And everyone just about ready to go from the first wave. The women going in the second wave with the yellow caps. and the top men all in this group. So watch out for some of the better swimmers. Certainly Alex Foster is up amongst the good swimmers, and I think he could do some damage. Paul Hawkins pretty swift in the water. Ewan Brown, the favourite for today's race, generally slips into the second group. His swimming is not of an elite standard, but remember, Ewan Brown has won this race for the last 2 years, and this is only the third time that they've held the Snowman, so no one else has won the trophy, and Foster's only chance is to have a brilliant swim and hope that one of the strong cyclists comes with him.
I'll be going hard on the swim, get as much advantage over Ewan as possible. Probably push it hard on the bike first hour, see if I can hold him off.
Well, now they're starting to sort themselves out. Greg Cherry certainly at the front of this field, a man who was second out of the water in the last of the Always Aim Try events, the Sandman. And it looked as though Alex Foster was right on his shoulder. So things going as planned. The women now underway. And remember the distance for the swim, 750 metres. This is Greg Cherry coming in towards the finish. Great swimming by him. Next year, the swim will be 1,000 metres, so they'll be able to get even more of an advantage on the first phase. That's good news for the swimmers, not such good news to the likes of Ewan Brown and Susie Richards. So Cherry first out, and now he'll make his way up towards the transition area. It's a long run in bare feet, no red carpet for these men. Paul Hawkins and Alex Foster there back in third place at the moment. No sign of Ewan Brown so far, but generally loses some 30 seconds, maybe 45 at the very most, to Alex Foster when they compete together. Well, that's a very steady approach to the transition area from Greg Cherry. Foster looking a little more eager. Quick drills in the transition important because this is a non-drafting race. Now, second out of the water in this group is Ewan Brown, so that 40-second marker not far off. We'll get an exact timing when he comes up into the transition area, and then of course we'll see them out onto the bikes. Well, off of the wetsuit. Hawkins, very good drills. That's excellent work from him. Out of the water in third. He's going to be first onto the road. There's Ewan Brown. Remember his strip, black arms, that red stripe down the back. We should be seeing a lot of him because his cycling is excellent. And he's made big improvements this year. Foster making his way up the little climb. That will put him onto the main road. They turn left and head off towards Bethgelert and the heart of Snowdonia. And in fact, these two will get out together. Now, as I mentioned, no drafting, but it certainly helps to have company, keeps you pushing. So, Foster and Hawkins are away, and Cherry and Brown. One sounds like a solicitor's, the other's like a shoe polish. We'll see which team does best. Now, let's catch up on the fastest woman in the water. It is Hazel Smith, who set herself up well for a good race today. And followed out of the water by Karen Driver, who had a really good swim in the Sandman. She's done it again here today. All the way from Australia, Claire Webber, still in the competition, looking for a top three in this Snowman triathlon. But watch out for Susie Richards, and here she comes. 2 out of 2 wins this season. She's immensely powerful on the bike, but there is last year's winner, Jane Hansom. And those two could have a bit of a duel, but Richards, for me, is the only one that's shown really good form so far this year. Well, there are plenty who aren't here to win, just to enjoy the occasion. And the good news is that next year the race will be run over 2 days, so twice as many people can get involved. Well, let's have a look at the course that they take on the Blizzard. They head out of the transition and go southwest. They'll turn left at Pennygurid, enjoy 200 metres of descent down towards Bethgelert. Technical riding follows to Mainturog, where the hard work really starts, up through Blaenau to the high point, and then left before they get to Bettus. And then they follow Avon Flugui, past the roar of the Swallow Falls and into T2 and prepare for the run. Well, the race leader at the moment is Paul Hawkins, who's had a very good swim. He was right alongside Alex Foster. So he's got to set a good pace, and Alex Foster at the moment right behind him. These two, I expect, will share the lead. No drafting, but if they stick to the rules, there will still be a little benefit for the man behind. Foster, Hawkins, Brown, Arthur Connell, who's been around for a long time, always involves these Always Aim Try races, and it would be nice to see Arthur do well. He's made the podium in the series before many times. And here comes Ewan Brown. If you forget his colours, you can pick him out by his cadence. He pushes those pedals, turns them over quicker than anyone else, and he's also got that sport strapping on the right ankle, which gives away the fact that he spent a part of the summer injured. And this is a very long race, so there's a possibility he might get found out.
The bike is 2 hours of hard riding up and down hills. So, yeah, get through that. But then the trick is to go as hard as you can, but not too hard that you've got something left for the run.
Now, one advantage of not being the best swimmer is that you spend the bike ride with people in front, people to chase, and that's just the situation that Brown finds himself in at the moment, because he can see the colours of both Alex Foster, who he's just gone past, and up ahead we've got Paul Hawkins, who's another 150 metres down the road. Foster looks as though he's taking it easy on the downhills. I'm not sure whether he's got a problem there, but he would never normally give away 15-20 metres to Brown in the space of a couple of hundred. It's a fast section of the road. Jane Handsome on the first of the big climbs. She's got plenty of fuel on board. Looks as though she might need it. Well, I hope she's pushing a heavy gear, because the turnover is very, very slow compared to the guys we saw up front. This is better, and it's Susie Richards who's on a mission again. What a great season she's had since that injury that put her out of the Europeans. Now, coming up towards Jane Hansen. I'm not sure if she can see Jane. She will now, and she will know that she is now the second woman on the road. Hazel Smith still up in front, but the way that Susie Richards is going, she will certainly be closing down on the lead. It's just a question of when she goes past. Here is Hazel Smith, 11:48 in the water. That was a very good swim, the fastest of the men, coming out in just over 10 minutes. So an impressive swim from Smith, and she's certainly got the kit and riding well at the moment. Through Beth Gellert for Paul Hawkins. Over the little switchback bridge, and then pressure down on the pedals again. Ewan Brown some 50 metres behind, who is still gaining. Alex Foster hasn't been blown away completely. This is Sam Green, 10th in this race last year, and the way things are going at the moment, he can certainly improve on that. Well, he's got an old-timer, Arthur Connell, for company. Connell, who we've seen in the Slateman a number of times. I think every time I've seen him, he's cramped up, so I hope he does better on Mole Shabod today. Arthur Connell and Sam Green in 4th and 5th at the moment. And Sam Green, in green, knows that he needs a good ride.
My strength today will be the bike. I want to get as far up as I can on the bike, and then go strong on the run. I mean, I'm decent on the fells, but I think there's a few guys up there that have definitely got their sights on the top spot.
Arthur Connell, a local man, maybe down in 5th at the moment, but he knows these roads better than anyone else, and he'll know exactly where to push and where to save. Ewan Brown, he only knows about pushing, and he's away again. He looked so impressive on Anglesey in the Sandman, and he's not put a foot wrong so far today. How will he cope on the run with that injured ankle? We will have to wait and see. The grueling final stage still to come. Welcome back to North Wales and the 2014 Snowman Triathlon, powered by Suunto, and the riders well on their way through a 69-kilometre leg, and still with the mountain run to come. It is anybody's game. Hazel Smith leading the women's race. A very good time, under 12 minutes for the 750 metres in very chilly conditions. It hasn't bothered Susie Richards. She's pushing hard, she's the fastest on the road, and she is about to go past Hazel Smith, which will make her the first woman and set her well on the way to winning 3 out of 3 in the series this year, and of course that trip to Nevis in the Caribbean for the triathlon out there. It's worth pushing for. Ewan Brown a little further down the road. He's into T2 already, having gone past Alex Foster and past Paul Hawkins. And the run, believe it or not, is where he has won this race in the 2 previous years. Now have a look at the shoes. They don't look like mountain shoes to me, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got some decent soles on, and away he goes. 9 kilometres to run. Last year it took just under an hour, 53 minutes I think it was last year. He was even quicker than that the year before, but the conditions were a whole lot better. Alex Foster is chasing, and he's chasing a very strong athlete indeed. Has he settled for second or third yet? Connell and Green still side by side, and you can see the raw flesh on Alex Foster's left shoulder having taken a tumble. This is Paul Hawkins, second out of T2, chasing Ewan Brown. This is Hugh Brassington, who's entered into the sprint race, and he's well ahead of the record schedule, so he's having a good day. Well, this is the severity of the climb, and it just goes on and on and on. 872 metres of altitude, and in fact they do almost the same altitude gain as you do if you attack Snowdon from the Llanberis Pass. Susie Richards, she's on a mission. What an athlete. Very, very impressive. So strong, both physically and mentally. Well, this is the top of the mountain, and Ewan Brown closing in on the summit. Well, it's nice to have those guys around. Hopefully they won't be needed today. And even Ewan Brown reduced to a walk for the last couple of 100 metres, and he knows that his greatest danger from here on in is a fall. And so he will just be sensible where it's required, and then he'll let the legs go when he's on some safer terrain. This is Dorothy Livia Bella, second in the series at the moment behind Richards, usually races on tarmac. So she's going to find out that hill running is a different skill.
I should be all right getting up the mountain. It's getting down that I'm a bit more worried about. I'm not a fell runner, so getting down could be interesting.
Well, she's going okay at the moment, as is Claire Webber, who's come all the way from Australia. And Ewan Brown has seen the top, and he's on his way down, not far to go, and he's through the worst, so almost certainly he is going to claim his 3rd victory of the season. Well, there will be more than a few tumbles today, and the odd slide is harmless provided you avoid the rocks. Most of them wearing good mountain shoes, but it's all about the footwork. And Ewan Brown has made no mistake today. He's now accompanied for the last couple of 100 metres by Ossian Perrin, an 11-year-old triathlete from Anglesey, who's just about the only person who's managed to keep up with him all day. Alex Foster left trailing, but he's still going to claim his 2nd podium. So 4th in the Slateman, 3rd in the Sandman, 2nd today in the Snowman, and he'll have to come back next year to try and get his 1st win. Only in his 3rd year of triathlon, he's done exceptionally well. And Ewan Brown across the finishing line. What a performance, 3 hours, 21:48. Another stellar performance by him, and he has earned a trip to the Caribbean. Some would say it's the hard way to do it, but he will be delighted with that, and we'll see how he gets on in the Nevis Triathlon.
Well, I wasn't sure what my legs could do after that sort of bike ride, because that was 2 hours pretty flat out. And then I think I did it in just under an hour up and down with a slightly dodgy ankle, so I was quite pleased with that. 6 minutes to reduce the time that's taken, I don't know how many 100 hours to do that. that's the trade-off. But wherever I go, I'll always come back to these events. These are what got me started. And every year, they'll probably be the first ones on my calendar.
And Alex Foster congratulated by Ewan Brown. And judging by those scars, he's going to have a few stories to tell.
There was too much water on the road for the amount of pressure I had in my tyres. Came off about a quarter of the way through, which made me lose my bottle downhill then for the rest of the course. So to come second, I'm really chuffed.
And Sam Green coming in third position. He's a whopping 12 minutes quicker than he was last year, and he goes from 10th to 3rd.
It's only my second ever podium in the triathlon, so it's just hard work, and it's just really nice to see it pay off.
Susie Richards, what about that? 12th to finish overall. Remember, 450 competitors. She has left many a man trailing today. That's 3 wins out of 3, and she's got herself a ticket to Nevis.
I mean, I'm a geography teacher, so, well, was a geography teacher, so I know where the Caribbean is, which is good, but I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd end up there, so it's been the end of a really fantastic year. I look forward to next year.
And here comes Helen Teasdale finishing in 2nd in the women's race. She's 4 minutes quicker than Richards on the run. She's had a fantastic finish.
That was awesome, yeah. Totally up my strata. Yeah, do quite a lot of fell running, so coming off travel there is awesome. And it's great when it's just a bit slippy like that, because you just cruise down, let yourself go.
Rebecca Slack, 3rd place in the women's. Steady performance throughout, and she'll be delighted to be on the podium, despite the loss of blood. Let's have a look at the standings for today. Ewan Brown 3:06.43, Alex Foster a full 15 minutes behind. Just shows you how strong Brown is on those hills. Susie Richards winning comfortably as well, ahead of Teasdale and Slack. Well, there have been some outstanding performances, and it's, for many, been a family affair. And the good news is that next year there'll be a kids' race as well. Claire Sutcliffe finishing. A really good performance from her. And here comes, all the way from Australia, Claire Webber. It's a long way to come to work that hard. Just over 4.5 hours.
It was a lot tougher than I expected, that's for sure. The run was like nothing I've ever done before. But I've done it, so that's good.
And it's not just about those at the top of the leaderboard. There have been many who can count the hours training on one hand, but still they've survived one of the toughest triathlons in the world. And many of them have completed all 3 races in the Always Aim Tri series. The Sandman, the Slateman, the Snowman. That is some achievement. And what about these two? They've entered every race, they've won every race. It's never been done before, but Susie Richards and Ewan Brown victorious in Snowdonia today.